meeting is going to come to order. This is a special meeting of the Town of Pompey Town Board, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. First and foremost, I want to identify who is present in this room. 4 board members: Carl Dennis, myself, Renee Rotundo, Judy McElhennon, and Sheila Larkin. Also present is our town attorney, or attorney for the town, Tim Fratelski, our highway superintendent, Tom Purcell, and our bookkeeper, Tom Chartrand. Oh, I'm going there, just the live people first. And then by video, we have Ann Christmas, who is video conferencing in pursuant to open meetings law, which allows that as long as she's in a public place where other people could join the meeting. So could you just tell us where you are, Ann?
I'm at Monterey Yacht Club in Stuart, Florida.
Stuart, Florida?
Yes.
On the golf course.
Okay.
Stuart, Florida.
I think we all wish we were there too. So,
Yeah.
this is a unique situation because we are not allowing the public to be present for this meeting due to the coronavirus being confirmed in Onondaga County, and we called this special meeting. But we want to provide public and have to provide public access, and I would like our attorney to explain the legal requirements that we have employed to make sure that the public will have access, not only now, but later to this meeting.
So Governor Cuomo signed an executive order a couple of weeks ago, which allows public bodies to disallow the public into public meetings, as long as those meetings are going to be recorded, and those meetings have either are live streamed, which this meeting is being live streamed, then recorded and placed on the website, so it memorializes what happened at this meeting. It is a exception to the open meetings law that the governor's executive order allows. We're holding this special meeting upon 1 day's notice. Under the law, it says 2 days' notice, but if all the town board members are present and have been given written notice of it, then it does not have to be a 2-day notice. It can be as quick as necessary. And it's my understanding that this morning, the press was all informed of today's special meeting, and that is also a requirement of this meeting. So that's the legal status of where we are today.
And,
Does anybody have any questions for me about that?
No.
Ann Christmas confirmed that she notified all the news outlets. Right, Ann?
I did an email to 359 Spectrum TV, Channel 24, Eagle Bulletin, Syracuse.com, and High Neighbor.
Good.
And Debbie put legal notices up in Pompey Post Office, Delphi Post Office, and I believe the Pompey Mall.
Yes, and the front door here.
Yeah.
And the other, and Tim, you might have said this, but if you did, just stop me. We're also videotaping this so that it will be available in a YouTube version on our town website. So if people can't live stream in tonight, you can watch it at a later date. And I just want to take a minute to thank Sheila and the tech crew, which I will call Team Ruggio, for the awesome help they've been to get this put together under such quick notice. We always wanted to do this eventually, but we didn't expect to have to do it under emergency circumstances, so thank you.
No problem.
Tom, before we get to the matter of really the reason we call this meeting, we've got some payment of bills, and we've changed the process in light of the current epidemic.
Yes, what I'd like to do is, for this meeting and any others that we have to do remotely or under the governor's order, I will prepare an abstract of the vouchers that will be audited later. I will give you the coding for them, I'll give you the And so, in this case, most of these we probably could have paid prior to audit anyways, but since we were all meeting, I figured I'd just throw a couple others on there. So, I would recommend is a motion of the board to pay the bills per the abstract.
I make a motion, we pay the bills per the abstract.
I would second that. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ann?
Aye. Aye.
No, yeah. Motion carried. Thanks, Tom. So we move on to the reason we're here, which is consideration of a resolution to, in response to the COVID-19 virus. And I would like to start with an explanation from our attorney about what this resolution includes. He's prepared it for us, and what other towns in the county have been doing so that the public can understand what it is that's gonna be happening here.
Sure. The governor made another executive order a couple of days ago that requires local governments to reduce their workforce by 50%. And the main reason we're meeting tonight is because he didn't really give us any direction as it relates to how to pay part-time workers. So after talking to the supervisor, she determined that all our employees will be treated the same when it comes to compensation. And so we need direction from the board to allow us to pay those workers who are either working from home, or if they're essential workers, they will be working on site. But even the part-time people are going to be included in that. And that's the real, that's the primary reason why we had to hold the meeting. Now, while we were doing that, there were other things that were happening, and the building was restricted in terms of access. The supervisor made many decisions as it relates to who should be coming, who's essential, who's not essential, and so did the department heads. So I've included all of those duties that have already taken place. I wanted the board to bless those duties that were already accomplished and give the supervisor, delegate to the supervisor, the authority to make other decisions between now and our next meeting if she needs to, based on the virus situation. So one of the first one is to declare a local emergency. This is not like an emergency the governor would declare, or even the county executive would declare. This allows the supervisor to marshal the resources of the town, if necessary, to combat the problem, which in this case would be the COVID-19 virus. It would allow the supervisor to suspend local laws, for instance, if she needed to, in order to combat the issue and save the property and life of people in the town of Pompey. I want to make it clear that there is no specific emergency in the town right now. This is just a safety measure going forward to allow the supervisor the authority to do things without having to call the board together, every day. So that's the second thing it does, and the part-time employees will be compensated as part of it, and there were, then it's just the authority to the supervisor to make decisions to cancel meetings, for instance. If meetings have to be canceled, she could do that on her own authority with a delegation from this town board. Other towns have done very similar things. I know Salina did it yesterday, Manlius did it yesterday. I know Fabius has instituted a local emergency. I just talked to the town attorney today. I know Clay has done that also. And you should also know that the supervisor can declare the emergency without town board approval, but Renee in this case wanted everybody to be part of that discussion, so she didn't do it on her own, so that the board was aware of what's going on, and again, got the blessing of the board. Does anybody have any questions for me about the resolution?
No.
I make a motion, we authorize the supervisor.
Can I ask a question first, though? I just have.
Take it away.
So, I just want clarification, and maybe it doesn't need to be before the motion. if I need to speak to my board,
Yes.
am I allowed to do that? Does it waive the fact that, I mean, if I talk to all
Yep.
of them at once, it's not gonna be a violation?
It may be a violation, but you can,
I can-
you can say you need to do that as part of the powers of your executive or,
Okay.
as part of the emergency powers, in order to make decisions, again, to combat the virus.
Yep.
This can't be used for
Anything else.
No.
willy-nilly
Just
other
for now.
town business. It really, for the purpose of this emergency, which is the COVID-19
Okay,
virus.
I just wanna make it clear so that if I need to talk to all of them at once, it doesn't prompt or trigger
Open
if 3 of
meetings.
us are together, it's an open meeting. So that was my concern. Okay, Carl, I'm sorry.
I make a motion authorizing the supervisor of town of Pompey to declare a state of emergency, and thus she would have the power to deal with the coronavirus and any other aspects where she needs to make rulings without the town board present in the near future.
I'll second that motion.
And as set forth in the resolution.
As
that's been
set forth
prepared.
in the resolution. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Sheila, you seconded it? Okay, is there any discussion before voting? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, board members, and I so want, really thank them, because this was happening very fast this week, and for everybody to come together on short notice is much appreciated. I just wanna explain, since I have a minute with the public, what's going on at the town hall, just in case you're not aware. The town is closed to the public, so please do not present yourself at the town hall to do business or go to the highway garage. Both buildings are closed. We will have staff in the clerk's office operating, so that you can call, you can fax, you can email, you can hard mail. A few people have showed up and wanting to slip their tax bills under the door, and that's been accommodated, but we would prefer by mail. We really want to eliminate face-to-face contact. I also want to commend the highway superintendent, Tom Purcell. He and I have been working closely together on this. His highway crew is considered essential to town business, so they will be working as needed. I wanna just really thank you for
You're welcome.
the cooperation. It's been so helpful. And I really ask the public to please respect the no access to the town buildings. It's for everyone's good, so we don't unintentionally transmit the COVID virus germs. And the one other question I actually have, and just by way of explanation to the public, the duration of this resolution,
Yes,
if you could address that.
Sure, the duration of the resolution is through the end of March, which is the directive that the governor has given as it relates to the reduction of workforce to 50%. So that goes through March 31st. The emergency declaration, you can do it for up to 30 days, but it has to be done in 5-day increments. So every 5 days, we'll reevaluate whether or not we need to continue that. And there was some question as to whether we should have even done the emergency declaration, but one of the issues that had been brought up by other supervisors was that in order to qualify for FEMA money, if FEMA money becomes available in the future for this disaster, one of the things they're gonna ask you is, did you declare a state of emergency? And that may qualify you for that aid. That was another reason why we did that.
Okay.
And just to clarify, because I know the other resolutions from some of the other towns have been for 2 weeks, but because our normal meeting is April 6th, and I
Right.
think to avoid having to come back if we had to meet as a group, but we probably won't if we're gonna extend this, we did ours until April 6th.
April 6th, it says it.
So that's our next.
That's right, I forgot.
Yeah, no, that's okay. So, just one final word to the public. Please don't mistake this for anything other than what it is, which is a healthcare crisis. Please don't be dismissive of the situation and take all the precautions that are being recommended to you by reliable sources. And one of the best places you could go for information about what's happening in Onondaga County is the county executive's daily briefing that he does at noon and then puts on YouTube. You can go to ongov.net.
That's correct.
And you can, the first thing you'll see is a link to the coronavirus information and the daily briefing. So if you wanna get the local, updates, that's the best place you can go for the most reliable information. So please, please, please practice prevention, if not for yourself, for the people that you come into contact with, because you can be asymptomatic and still carry this virus, and the vulnerable and the elderly are the most, exposed to catch it. We don't have a vaccine, and this can be fatal to some people. So please take precautions, and I thank you for tuning in. Anybody have anything else they'd like to add?
Let's be safe.
Be safe, be healthy. Thank you, be smart.
Motion to adjourn.
I made a motion, we adjourn.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion granted.